So I want to come back to this question of some of the conflict of interest issues that have been raised. And I raise it because I think there's a great concern on behalf of the American people that this whole administration is starting to look like a bit of a get-rich-quick scheme.
The fact of the matter is, and I don't know whether you were here before, but the fact of the matter is that I didn't know any of those trades were being made. I have a directed account, broker-directed account. All of those trades were made without my knowledge, as is set up, and individuals on this panel have the same kind of accounts. The reason that you know about them is because I appropriately reported them in an above-board and ethical and appropriate manner as required by the House of Representatives.
But do you direct your broker around ethical guidelines? Do you tell him, for instance, not to invest in companies that are directly connected to your advocacy? Because it seems like a great deal as a broker. He can just sit back, take a look at the positions that you're taking.
She can sit back.
She can sit back, in this case, look at the legislative positions you're taking, and invest in companies that she thinks are going to increase in value based on your legislative activities, and you can claim separation from that because you didn't have a conversation.
Well, that's a nefarious arrangement that I'm really astounded by. The fact of the matter is that I have had no conversations with my broker about any political activity at all, other than her congratulating me on my election.
But why wouldn't you?
I'm not asking you about why you supported. I'm just asking, did you buy the stock, and then did you introduce a bill that would be helpful to the companies you just bought stock in?
The stock was bought by a broker who was making those decisions. I wasn't making those decisions.
Okay, so you said you weren't making those decisions. Let me just make sure that I understand. These are your stock trades, though. They are listed under your name, right?
They're made on my behalf, yes.
Okay. Was the stock purchased through an index fund?
I don't believe so.
Through a passively managed mutual fund?
No, it's a
Through an actively
broker.
managed mutual fund?
It's a broker-directed
Through a blind
account.
trust? So let's just be clear. This is not just a stockbroker, someone you pay to handle the paperwork. This is someone who buys stock at your direction. This is someone who buys and sells the stock you want them to buy and sell.
Not true.
So when you found out
That's not true, Senator.
Well, because you decide not to tell them, wink, wink, nod, nod, and we're all just supposed to believe that?
It's what members of this committee, it's the manner in which members of this committee, well, I understand that, but it's important to appreciate that that's the case.
Then I want to understand, when you found out that your broker had made this trade without your knowledge, did you reprimand her?
What I did was comply.
You found out that she made it.
What I did was comply.
Did you fire her? Did you sell the stock?
What I did was comply with the rules of the House in an ethical and legal and above-board manner and in a transparent way.
So your periodic transaction report notes that you were notified of this trade on April 4th, 2016. Did you take additional actions after that date to advance your plan to help the company that you now own stock in?
I'm offended by the insinuation, Senator.
Well, let me just read what you did. You may be offended, but here's what you did. Congressional records show that after you were personally notified of this trade, which you said you didn't know about in advance, that you added 23 out of your bill's 24 co-sponsors, that also after you were notified of this stock transaction, you sent a letter to CMS calling on them to cease all current and future planned mandatory initiatives under the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Innovation. And just so there was no misunderstanding about who you were trying to help, you specifically mentioned
2 minutes are up,
knee
Senator Warren.
replacement.
Thank you.